Guys, there was a huge conference recently in Miami, and my next guest, Bryan Williams, was there, front row.
All right, Orange Theory, let's turn it up. All right, Orange Theory, looking awesome. Keep it up. Shut it down.
I headed to Miami very intentionally to go to Catalyst, which is hosted by Partnership Leaders, which is a US-based group to sort of enable partnerships across the globe. It was actually the first global partnership conference that's actually ever come about as well.
Yep.
We've focused on ecosystem for a few days for what it was. So there's a bunch of keynotes, a bunch of networking interactions across the board from folk from all over the US, but also globally as well. People who are attenders from down in Brazil, Israel, European tech scenes as well to sort of come together. And what's really cool is that partnership people by default are always looking to add value. How can they network? How can they connect people and help other people win? So you get 500 plus of them in a room together for a few days. It's pretty incredible output around it.
Yeah, fireworks, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about like maybe your top 3 takeaways.
Yeah, sure. I think to start off with, partnerships has always traditionally been part of the business units for SaaS and tech companies where it's just put to the side or it's sent across with good intentions around like, oh, you got your sales and marketing mainstreams and then like someone go explore partnerships, what it looks like. You've often typically got employees who are from cross-functional business units who would go and do that. And so there hasn't been education, there hasn't been tech available, and the industry hasn't really evolved. And I think that's really changed. And by nature of this conference was really the next step of that. And so, the first takeaway is in the same way there's tech stacks right across Salesforce, HubSpot, and others out there across any sort of the business units, there's actually now an evolving tech stack for partnerships in particular.
Super cool.
Yeah. So that was one key takeaway. And I think, my previous role at Xero, where I led the ecosystem for 5 years across the region, we saw that those who had adopted tech early and get on with it, they're the ones who are going to lead the way. So there's an opportunity here for all tech companies out there to really run with it.
Yep.
That's probably the first thing. The second thing is that there's a bunch of education material and stuff coming through as well. And so as people take on partnership roles or they're building out partnership teams, whether it's in partner marketing, to upskill themselves, there's courses, there's education components, baked in by the likes of Partnernomics to actually upskill and enable people to be able to deliver.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And lastly, the third one, which I'm getting to, and is that everything we actually do in this day and age is actually partner influenced more and more, and the measurability of that coming through and the capabilities of that is increasing rapidly. And Jay McBain from Canalys, who's one of the global leading thinkers of this, he gave the stat from Apple recently that 79% of buyers of cars would not buy a car if it didn't have Apple Play involved.
I believe that.
So, whether you're at the grocery store buying peanut butter, if you're buying fuel or whatnot, your partner influence we are already. And now we've got the tools to measure it and look out, the industry is heating up.
Man, it's phenomenal stuff. I'm going to link all of the details from the conference, but I'll also link all of Bryan's details as well, so you can reach out to him if you are seeking this sort of engagement. He's your guy. Let's bring it full back to Australia for a minute. Freezing cold Melbourne, Victoria. George,
yes.
Pause Fest.
Yeah, it's coming up. The ecosystem in Australia is doing amazing things. There's a lot of awesome people doing incredible work at companies, and companies doing great things. And we need to shine a light on them of what they're doing, right? And the work that George is doing with Pause Fest Awards this year. Entries close soon in a few weeks. We encourage everyone to get involved. And if you've got colleagues that are doing amazing things or companies which are doing amazing things, get involved. We've got the opportunity to really shine a light on those, and let's bring it to light.
Yeah, and I think Australia specifically, this is, George has brought people in globally. He's had Tencent here before, he's had Google people here as well. There's been a ton of, but I think locally, we have some incredible talent. Mm-hmm. I reckon we can take on some of these big markets with some of the talent that we have here in Australia.
Yeah, and that was one of my takeaways from the conference I was just at. I don't think it's, the Australian talent here is more seasoned, mature than we actually realise, and they're doing some amazing work. It's just the scale of sometimes the US or European conferences and the markets overshadow it. But like the Tech Council report which came out this week, we've already got over 21 unicorns here in Australia. Like, where's the next 21? Let's bring it to life.
I dig it, man. So Bryan, thank you. Guys, all the details, depending on what platform you're looking on, they're either above or below. I highly encourage you to reach out to Bryan. I also encourage you to click on the links below for Pause Fest, and shout out to George. Keep up the great work, my friend. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Toby.